Hey all, this is Nev, and I am beyond excited to be here with you for a show. This particular episode has been recorded in my coaching and strategy call with one of my students and clients, somebody that I cherish dearly as a friend, as a student. We went into a lot of different conversations, anywhere from real estate to cryptocurrencies to what I think about gold and precious metals, all the way to what I think is going to happen with the financial system. So we've touched up on everything. I do want to apologize for one thing, and that is the sound quality. Somewhere about a third way into the video kind of drops off for my friend, and my apologies for that. But I think you will still get a lot of value out of this, and I hope you will enjoy it. If you like this video, please make sure you share with your friends, family, and acquaintances, and make sure you subscribe and click that bell button so that you get notified when a new video comes your way. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
The bonus video, that was quite interesting. I'm gonna be really paying attention to that.
Yeah, no, I just figure I was like, when I created the darn thing, I didn't really think that this is going to happen. And I'm like, I should probably do something for folks to be like, what do you do now? Like you're taking a course or whatever you're doing. And, like you can't really do anything right now. I mean, you can study, you can pay attention, but you can't, all the courts, everything
No
is
action.
closed.
Yeah, we shouldn't be taking action. And it's kind of interesting. I started following some real estate podcasters just for the heck of it. And Scott Carson, I think that's his name, came to mind when I just said that. Anyway, they're acting like, oh, everything's going to be fine. And for the, if you've got commercial real estate, just make sure it's in, oop, there's the cat. Can't do anything about that.
Nope.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't understand how some people can act like so cavalier about this situation. If I owned a lot of real estate, especially commercial real estate, I don't know if I'd be super calm right now.
Yeah, I think most of the folks don't really understand it, don't understand what's happening, are not grasping. I mean, I'm even watching I've been watching all kinds of different things. So I know I have been mostly focusing on real estate, but there's so much happening now with paper assets because it's a fast moving market. It's been fabulous to watch, but it's also idiotic. You see the price go up, which I expected to go. And, but the jobless claims have jumped 3.5 million in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
It's
less
like
than a month.
never,
I mean, that's
ever.
unheard of.
Like you watch the chart and it's like down here, and then you have this thing and it's just like straight up. And that's not accounting the major shutdowns that actually have been happening for the last month. That's
Yeah,
just February.
yeah. I
And
think,
that's what
unfortunately,
people are not understanding. I'm like, once
standing the
April,
ramifications, right? The downstream.
it's all of that stuff. And I just I did a post on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. I'm trying to like watch multiple channels. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. But there's been some major developments happening with the financial stuff that they're not talking about it. They're not covering it. And I knew that, as they say, never let the good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
They're definitely not letting it go to waste. And, I'm sure people have all kinds of thoughts and opinions about how they started and what, blah, blah, blah. I'm, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
What I do find incredibly important is some of the stuff that has developed within a crypto space. It has nothing to do with real estate, but within the crypto space. So I've been crypto enthusiast.
Now, I kind of follow the cryptos, but I'm going to be totally honest with you, full disclosure. I've been following cryptos for, God, 3 or 4 years, have never pulled the trigger. It's just so crazy. It's weird how you have to have your little wallet and you got to create I don't know. Anyway, so and I know you're in cryptos, and I'm sure you know who Tika is. Tika Tuori. Have you ever heard the name?
It sounds familiar, but
Well,
I don't
anyway,
feel like I'm
he's
on top.
constantly talking about how he's the king of crypto, and he's going to tell you all the ins and outs of what the newest coin is to invest in. But you know how there's going to be a splitting or a halving? I forget what they call it.
Yep,
Halving,
yep. It's called halving. Yep,
coming soon.
yep.
So he's really big on you should have just a little bit of investment there. So what's your take because of everything that's going on?
So the crazy stuff. So I have been saying this for a few years now, and everybody has been calling me crazy for saying it. But I've been calling that every government, that everything is going to become digital current, like it's going to be cryptocurrency. Most of our money is digital anyways, right? Like most of us don't carry cash. So there's been a lot of development. A lot of companies are jumping on that stuff. A lot of governments started to talk about it. I mean, Russia was the first one. China kind of came out. US was sort of quiet, but in February of this year, you can actually look it up. I want to say February 20 something. So quite convenient. Just pretty well.
Yeah. The timing couldn't have
Um,
been.
there is, I believe it's called FedCoin,
I've been reading about that.
right? So that has kind of gone live, and it's basically US government stuff. On March 23rd, the Trump signed into the law the 5G and the sort of which basically opens up this whole market. Right? There's the halving coming. There's just all this stuff that is just super poised. I'm very, very bullish on cryptos. I mean, there's all kinds of coins and stuff. Some of them are more of like a token,
Yeah,
right? Sort of
as opposed to an actual
like a
coin.
bonus reward, like shop in my store. Um,
Yeah.
but some of them behave like currencies. I like Bitcoin because it's original sort of startup and stuff, and I have a lot of faith in it of what it can do just because of the centralized. I'm not crazy about the government stuff because of what they can do and how much monitoring can happen, right? Which is even more than now. Um, but
And that was
like
the whole point that what you just said, that was the whole point of having crypto supposedly was because it's free of government control. They're, blah blah blah, but they're not going to let that money not be taxed.
oh yeah, no. I mean, you gotta pay stuff on it, but it's just one of those things that's like, I I've been I've been I have been believing that the U.S. Dollar will sort of disappear, so to speak. Like it might not disappear like by the name, but more of like what we know it as a currency right now. So I've been very much big on there's going to be a huge shift in financial structure as we know it.
Okay.
So of IMF, the
Mhm.
International Monetary Fund, right? It's basically a bank to the banks. They also have been putting out, I believed also that for a while SDRs might become stuff. Now they're
Uh-oh.
starting to put out that they want to get SDR to individuals, but you can't, like, it's not a physical thing. Well, guess
No,
what they're going
yeah.
to use? They're going to use blockchain.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
going to use
yeah.
blockchain. I don't know that for a fact, right? I don't sit in those groups, but I'm right. Like I kind of connect the dots
Yeah.
of what makes sense, and what is happening right now with all of the from economic stuff and concepts, and all of the people that are in the know are in on it. I'm truly convinced of it. Truly convinced of it. From the big data companies like Google and Amazon and Facebook and right, all of that stuff, to all of the banks, big banks, to all of the government leaders. And it's just sort of weird stuff of kind of how things are developing and where things have been going on. And just, you start connecting the dots, and it's too many coincidences. Like coincidence here or there, I can buy it. But when you start seeing a lot of coincidences, like a lot of CEOs selling stocks and dumping them, literally dumping them, you know, every major company developing their own cryptocurrency, mostly silently. Even Amazon is on it, even though they said they're not doing it.
I know. Hmm.
Right? Like all of the stuff and people that have been talking and sharing about like some of the sort of behind the lines and stuff, like their videos being taken down, blocked. Like there's just
Oh,
a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff that is being very much censored. And it's all part of that plan of you push the agenda, and the agenda is you get everybody to look here, right? It's kind of like a perfect
and then
example.
you're doing,
And
yeah.
then you just do stuff behind. And so there's all this stuff happening behind. And what I think is happening right now from the monetary part, they're printing money like crazy,
Oh,
even though they're not printing nearly enough of what needs to happen.
yeah.
And it's going to get worse or better, depending how you look at it. It's going to be more. We're going to hit this sort of big kind of kaboom piece, and they're going to roll out the brand new thing that they've been working on all along
Hmm.
silently and say, well, here's all the problems with this stuff. We gift you this.
Yes.
And
And
people
look
are
at
going,
us. We're going to take care of those problems with this new cryptocurrency. So
yep.
just
And they're going
switch
to
all
roll,
your dollars.
yeah. And they're going to roll out the universal income. And I think the way they're going to, right, like they're testing it out right now to see if people are taking it. Of course, people are going to take money. I mean, you took the jobs and the money away. What are they going to do? Like you tied their hands behind their backs. So they're going to take that. Eventually, they're going to basically say, well, we don't want to send checks because the virus can live on it. So it's not safe for you. We can't really direct deposit for most of you, but we have kind of created this stuff. And I think slowly they're going to start pushing the agenda forward. And then if you want to stay on it, you're going to have to sign up.
um, beneath our noses. But I just don't want to see. I mean, because it's kind of like the end of our democracy. It's the end of our country as we know it, and it's such a disheartening feeling. I'm not disagreeing with you because it does make sense. All the like you say, all connecting all the dots. Uh, and then now I'm torn. Do I just play the game, get into cryptos, and try to make some money?
Yeah,
I,
and that's, I mean, that's it's it's one of those things, like it's, you can't go against. You just, I mean, you can, but it's, you're not gonna get very far, right? Like it's trying to push a mountain. And so for me, I'm like, okay, then if I can't play against, I might as well just play along.
join them. If you
It's,
can't beat them, join them.
yeah, right. And so I'm like, if that's the game, then you know what? I'm gonna get and buy a little bit of crypto just to, on an off chance, right? Like it's, I haven't done a lot of analysis. I've been collecting a lot of data, trying to kind of create, trying to write another book. I can't believe I'm actually doing that,
Oh my God.
but it's just so important that to share with people that I, when I was like, "Ah, I'm not gonna do it," I'm like, this just feels irresponsible. Um, and so I'm like, well, maybe I should sit down and actually do it. So I've been collecting a lot of data, and I haven't done my own analysis, but I've been listening to a lot of other people's analysis of like what they're thinking that kind of crypto or Bitcoin itself could potentially do. Hey, Kitty,
She plays with my hair sometimes, and I hope this is not going to be one of those times.
that's funny. But and they've been talking about analysis of you know one Bitcoin having a potential to hit between 150 to 200,000 on a low end, up to like a million on a high end.
Oh my God.
So like if you think about it, even if it's 10,000, which is not, it's 60 some hundred right now. Even if it's like 10,000, if it goes to 100,000, that's 10x.
Yeah, I know. That's why I feel like I'm sitting on the sidelines of seeing something happening, and I know I should be in it. Um, when you got your wallet, what I mean, how did you know where to go? Did you just follow some?
Yeah, I just did a lot of number one, when somebody says they're a Bitcoin expert, they're full of it. It takes well over 10 years of working and doing all of that stuff. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that have been spending a lot of times, but I'm like, come on, you've been in this for a few years. Like, let's call it what it is. And you don't need to go into it. A lot of the stuff is the trading of what they're selling, of like buy this one, sell that one, but you get dinged on taxes on that.
Yeah,
Um, I just like this one. It's like this one is kind of like gold to me. I don't want to trade it. I just want to have a little bit of it
and
as
just
a
hold on to
protection.
it.
as a protection, right?
Is
That's
it
it.
Bitcoin? Is that the one you
Yeah,
have? Or
that's the
what?
one that I have. Yeah. I actually have some Litecoin as well. I have Ethereum. I have a little bit of EOS. I have XRP, which is Ripple. Uh, Ripple is not decentralized, it's centralized, but Ripple is connected with American Express to use for their own payments instead of Swift kind of stuff. So
Okay.
that's the reason why I decided to go with that one. Ethereum, because a lot of the things are built on Ethereum. And then just Bitcoin is my major. Out of all of them, is a major holding. But what I did is I actually used Coinbase to buy it. It's pretty simple to do it. It's an app. You sign up. You have to provide actually government documents, right, like your driver's license and that kind of stuff. They're tracking it. There's no going around it. So I just find it to be like it's not super sophisticated for trading, but if you're just looking to buy, you know, a small amount and just kind of put it there and let it sit, it makes it pretty easy. You can always transfer it to a different wallet. What I would probably do is just spend time, if you have time, of just sort of putting in and searching like, top Bitcoin wallets. And so like I'm looking for like ease of use, like safety measures, protections, that kind of stuff. The biggest piece is just you obviously want to have it safe. If you're gonna trade it, you can keep some of it on the because Coinbase right now is an exchange. And when you hear about the uh, being hacked, Bitcoin is not hacked. It's the exchange that is being hacked.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm like, just you can take it off of that, put it in a safe wallet. Just make sure that you actually remember, and you likely won't be able to remember. So you have to write it down of what the password is,
Oh
because
yeah.
if you lose
If
that
you lose
puppy,
that, you just
it's gone. So I mean, it's not gone. You just can't get it.
you'll never be able to access it.
So that's the biggest piece. Is I would spend a little
By
bit of
the
time
way,
learning.
speaking of that, Nat, sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah.
If somebody does do that, and you've got to imagine thousands of people have lost their password,
Yeah.
password. Is that Bitcoin? Is it just hanging out there in digital land and nobody
Yeah.
can ever access it?
Yeah.
Because
It's just lost. It's kind of like
oh, there you go.
it's kind of like it's kind of like like if we were to print $1,000, right, and you spread the $1,000 by $1 to each, and there's a couple of people that like maybe are careless around the campfire and it drops in a fire and it burns, and so the wealth didn't necessarily disappear, but that particular thing to claim for something else is gone, and it's just
Because I'm just wondering, you know how there's a limited amount
yeah.
of Bitcoin of crypto out there,
Mm-hmm.
and when it's all issued, it's
It's done.
supposedly done.
Yeah.
So isn't somebody going to try to find
Potentially.
treasure chip?
Potentially, and you know what? It's possible. It's possible that somebody's working on some sort of programming chain, whatever. I'm not smart enough to do that. Uh, that can sort of go in and try to figure out how to find it. I don't know how you would, because you would have to sift through all the different codes that are like on all these different computers and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And anyways, if I'm going to get some crypto, I got to get it fast because that
Yeah,
halving is
I would do it. I would do it definitely before the halving is happening, May 20th, I believe. So I would definitely do it before then. You can definitely watch a little bit of the price. I mean, I would argue that anything below 10,000 is, very much a good deal. I wouldn't bet a farm on it, to be honest with you. But it's one of those things. I'm like, a few $100 or a few $1,000, depending on your overall net worth.
and aren't they selling fractions? Coins?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you don't have to buy an entire thing, right? Like you can say, I'm just gonna buy $100 worth of it. and whatever that exchange is, you're gonna get X amount of a satoshis, which is that's what that fractional version of it is called. Yeah. So and it's for folks that can afford to get 1,000 bitcoins, cool, do it. For those that can get $1,000, cool, do it. For those that can do $100, like it's just one of those things. Like I said, it's just to me it kind of plays the same. Like gold has this like really cool old world protection for centuries, right? So you have that kind of safety net. Then I mean, I like real estate just because, again, a lot of breaks and huh? Well, it's tangible, right? Just like gold, it's tangible, but it has ability to produce income, whereas gold does not. And then and then you have this like crypto, which is this brand new thing. But like when credit cards first started, they were brand new thing, nobody trusted it. Now we use it like it's no tomorrow. If you think about it, right? So like we've come a long way, and that has kind of potential to maybe you know crash completely and disappear, which is why I'm not putting betting a farm on it. But it has this, but the risk is kind of lower on the end, and because as long as there's conspiracy theories and theorists and uncertainty, people will kind of go to it. And then it has this huge ability to like explode. And I think it's sort of, prime set. And I'm like you. I mean, I've been off and on kind of watching Bitcoin since 2010. I remember when it was like 3 cents, and I didn't get into it because I didn't understand how to get into it. And I was like, I don't get it. And a lot of these exchanges and a lot of that stuff didn't exist. And I'm like, I don't know how to buy this. And then when it was $1, I was like, my gosh, like I still believe in this. Like I still think, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So like over time things got easier, and it's definitely a new thing that is developing, and it has, big fluctuations and stuff. Uh, but it follows very much predictable patterns. And I've done a couple of videos on the halving as well, that it just kind of, right, like it goes up, then it kind of comes down and does this sort of, you know, much of nothing. Then he, starts kind of picking up the steam. Um, so I think it has a good potential, and where I think the world is kind of heading to, because I don't think we're going to be less technology. I think it's going to be more technology.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so it's like it just kind of makes sense when you start connecting the dots, And in China, like you can't, they have paper currency, but you can't really use it for anything. You have to have digital wallets on your phones in order to be able to buy just about anything. In
Wow.
Germany, I actually have found out, because I've been watching now channels from Europe a lot. Um, and some of them are English, but a lot of them are native languages, and so some languages that I don't really speak well, so a lot of it gets lost. But some I do, and I've been watching, and so there are chips in Germany, I want to say, where like there's small chips that you can like implant on your arm,
My gosh.
and it will have like your ID, keys to the house, credit card, and all you do is just you just walk, right, and it just reads it.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've seen things, and it just
So
that kind of thing freaks me out. I don't want anything implanted in me.
it's and I get it, and I get the other side of it, and so I'm very much torn. But I just it's one of those things where I'm like, I can see where the future is going, and I'm convinced, absolutely convinced, that the stocks are going to be. I'm trying to relate it. It's going to be like a cassette tapes. It's. I honestly believe it, because the market is going to crash so badly that companies are going to have to switch to something, and it's going to be crypto. I truly believe that. Truly believe that.
I think I saw you on Facebook saying that you did. Now, maybe I missed. Okay, I still haven't gotten back in. I think it's going to crash again. You know how we had the major. Right? Did you say you had gotten out? Maybe you were saying you had sold in February, and yeah, I don't know.
I got out of.
The dip yet.
Yeah, no. It's
Just
just no, and I did a lot of videos. I just haven't had time. I'm like, my gosh, everything is moving so quickly. I can't keep up. Um,
Crazy.
but like what I was saying is, there was the whole like 35% drop, and it's back up. And what I've been saying, it's going to go up. It's going to retrace, maybe halfway to the top, maybe a little bit less, maybe quarter or whatever. That's a typical thing, and then it's going to slowly start. So you see this giant dip. It kind of comes back. It's a fake out, as I call it, and then it slowly starts coming down. And now we're going to ride this thing. I believe, at first I was thinking 50%. I am thinking like 70 to 90% now.
Wow.
And Dow at 90%, I mean, we're talking, like 5, 6, 7,000.
Fire sale. So, in essence, if you haven't put any money into the market since the drop,
Stay out.
just stay out right now.
Stay out.
Yeah.
Because all of the stuff that is coming in, and you've seen them kind of talk about, but the crazy part is they're talking about for people to go in and do it. Um, but most of the big money is already out.
Yeah.
The money's out. The CEOs have left. People have switched. They're all buying and getting into cryptos and developing that stuff, and they want everybody else to kind of go in it because it helps.
Because they want us to prop up the market for them.
Correct. And so that's why I said, I was like, if you haven't been able to kind of get out on the way down, it's going to go up. That's your chance. Once you get that,
If it goes back up, I'm definitely gonna get rid of the rest.
yeah, so it's going to slightly go up. It's not going to go, I mean, we've hit 22 last week. We're now at 21. It's been slowly kind of dropping. If they do another stimulus really fast before the jobless claims additional 2.0, we could kind of see it. If there's news about like this potentially being solved, you can kind of see it go up. But I don't see any of that happening. We are throughout the United States in week 2, maybe. I mean, California, I know it's been a little bit longer. But if you look at Europe, we're looking at, 6 to 8 weeks worth of this. We're not getting out of this until mid-May.
That's the other part that just
And that's
my mind. How, I mean, this had to have been somewhat planned. It's just too perfect of a storm.
I have my conspiracies, and again, I don't know. I think the virus itself is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if it was like nature made or man made.
That's my question too.
And I also don't know if it was one of those like, how sometimes you get the things and it's like sort of tried out, but then it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's the case, right? So I have no clue. I mean, I honestly think that we'll find out, and likely you and I won't, because I think, 100 years from now, their history is going to show, and there might be unveiling of some of the major shifts, but like we will, people living here right now will never know exactly how it all happened. So, but either case that it happened, I mean, people are uh, definitely using it to benefit themselves. And the unfortunate piece is that most people don't know about it. I was just on a call this morning, group of people, and all from higher ed, and they were just talking. They were like, "Oh yeah, like if you bought your 401k 10 years ago, you're still up. We're still cool." And I'm like, "Yep, for now." I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it there, because they're going to crash the whole thing, and I think entire industries and businesses, I mean, it's going to get wiped out. And I truly believe, like, if all of that goes down to 90%, 80%, even 70%, that means that every business out there is also selling at that. So that means that we'll have ability and opportunity to buy in 2, 3 years from now amazing businesses for pennies.
Yeah.
For pennies.